There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hi dear friend. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have a special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie, and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited once again to come your way with the Leadership Platform. CTL Africa, the Center for Transformational Leadership Africa, we are committed to encouraging growth. We are committed to changing minds so that we can have the right understanding of our personal growth, the right understanding of leadership, so that everybody who is at any leadership position would do better. We know that our school systems do not really teach us leadership. I went through school and and finished and got a job, and I didn't know anything about leadership. And when I had to lead a department, nobody had taught me how to lead in that department. I just know my technical knowledge. I had my technical knowledge, and I was just supposed to do my job. And a lot of us do this. We do the technical thing, but the higher you go, the more influence you need, and the more people relationship you need, the more leadership you need. John C. Maxwell has said there is the law of the lead, which says that your effectiveness is determined by your level of leadership. Your level of leadership awareness determine your level of effectiveness. And that is why we at CTL Africa are committed to enhancing and increasing knowledge about leadership and about personal growth, because without growing yourself, you cannot grow others. You cannot give what you don't have. The highest purpose of leadership is to add value to others. So we thank you for making the date. If you are online at this point, we encourage you to introduce yourself, to tell us where you are calling from, give us your name and your location, and we will be very happy to introduce you to the world. Now, before we proceed with today's discussions, I want to encourage those of you who are online. We know that many of you join, but you don't show up, you don't tell us your name. That's fine, but it is our pleasure to know who is on the line. That also helps the speaker to know who he's talking to. But more important for you, we want to introduce you to the world, for the world to know you are also on the leadership platform. So please share this to the world, share to your colleagues, your bosses, this particular subject. Share with your bosses, those in senior position, to come on board and to share the knowledge about this topic that we are going to talk about. And like our pages, our Facebook pages, and we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channels so you don't miss out on any of our sessions. All right. Every week at 7 o'clock, we are here. So if you are new on the platform, just mark the date. Every Saturday, 7 p.m., make a date with us, and we bring you a leader who will share a topic with you. Now we are starting the growth journey. We are just about finishing the last cohort, and the next cohort is starting in 2 weeks on 11th of April. We're starting with a new group of people, taking them on a 15-week growth journey. You've seen some of those of you who joined early may have seen some of the testimonials of those who have joined this journey, and so many people continue to join: lawyers, architects, bankers, professionals of all fields. join the growth journey and find out that so far they have not been growing at all. There are ways by which you can grow to become your better self. So please, we encourage you to join the growth journey. Encourage your team members to join the growth journey and let us grow together. But this evening, we have a very competent person, and he's my friend. I call him my friend because the first time I met our speaker was when we were going to try to stream Live to Lead Ray broadcast at the University of Cape Coast. And the team organizing it, arrange a meeting with him to be our key support patron to help mobilize. And from the very first few minutes we had with him, it was clear to me that Mr. Kawo was sold on leadership. He was prepared to, he was sold on growth. He was prepared to support the students. And he says, for me, anything leadership, I'm for it. And since that time, he's attended all our Live to Lead conferences, and he's mostly connected online with the leadership platform whenever he has the time. Despite his busy schedule, he is willing to learn. Even at his level as a senior lecturer, he's willing to come down and join us and learn. Today, he's going to lead us in the discussion. As I've said, Mr. Kawo is a senior lecturer at the Department of Finance at the School of Business, University of Cape Coast. He is a leader of the team on the subject that we are going to discuss, ESG, at the University of Cape Coast. So he's competent to talk to us about this subject. And they are there, the University of Cape Coast, at the ESG team. They are training students and managers on incorporating ESG into corporate entities. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce and Master of Business Administration in Finance from the University of Cape Coast. He's currently working on his PhD in Economics at the School of Economics. And if you he's also an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants UK and a Chartered Global Management Accountant. He specializes in corporate financial analysis and business valuation and corporate restructuring. If you follow the news and you watch Joy FM, Joy News channel, most of the time you will see that he's one of the resource persons that Joy News would always call on issues of finance, on the economy, and recently on the debt, DDE, domestic debt structuring. He shares his knowledge and views on what is going on and what the government needs to do, and so on and so forth. Now, without much more ado, it is my pleasure to welcome my good friend, Mr. Cyril Kawo, to the leadership platform to lead us on the discussion on ESG. He will explain what ESG is. The environment in which we lead is very, very important. How we are going to live our planet is very important, and that's on a global basis. But even on a minuscule basis, if you're leading a church, you're leading a business, you're leading a department, how are you leading that department? And how is your leadership going to affect the overall environment of the people, physically, emotionally, the people around? When you leave, how are you leaving that department? What impact, what contribution, what kind of systems are you putting in place to make sure that governance is at the center of it? So the environment, the social, the people around and the systems that are put in place. These are some of the things that Mr. Seyram Kaur is going to lead us to discuss. So, Seyram, my good friend, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the leadership platform. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, my good friend. And the journey has been very good for us so far. It's been interesting, learning leadership every time. And from this journey, I have learned that, yes, there should be leadership in the things that we do. The old ways of doing things should change to a new way, to a modernized way, so that at the end of the day, we would all benefit from the things that we do. If we continue to do things the old way in a modernized world, propelled by technology, then we will be out of business. And today, organizations face global pandemic. We have earthquakes happening around the world. We have the coronavirus happening. And hence, how do these businesses, how do leaders ensure that there is sustainability of the issues at stake? In the next 30 minutes or 45 minutes, I will be taking you through ESG, environmental, social, and governance agenda, and how leaders would be in a position to use this successfully to ensure that their businesses are sustainable from time to time. And so today we are looking at ESG, and E stands for environmental, S for social, and G for governance issues. In the next few minutes, I will take you through what we meant by ESG. Why is ESG necessary in the business world? And what are the roles of the business leader? And then I'll give my concluding remarks. Yes, sustainability issues have become very serious now. They are the mainstream issues in business. And so business performance is no longer about the financial returns that we get, financial returns to the shareholders, to the investors of the company. Sustainability has taken over, where most businesses are looking at the non-financial issues in every organization. So we have other groups, customers, the employees that you have, the society that we live in, government, and the investors. They demand that there should be accountability beyond the traditional measures that we find ourselves in. So today, if our banks are telling us they've made a lot of profit, is it all about the profits that the banks are making? Is it all about the profits that your business is making? Is it all about your personal growth that the business is giving you? But sustainability has come in where people are going to look at your environmental, social, and governance issues. And so to build a resilient environment, to build a resilient business entity, where we have seen that during the COVID-19, 2020, 2021, a lot of businesses have closed down because they have not built that resilient environment so that they will withstand the long-term issues that affect them from time to time. And so we want to look at how we can sustain our businesses. You know, leaders, you own the processes, the systems that are put in place, the data, the management information system, and all those things that we have. We need to transition these things into sustainable businesses so that if you are not there, the business can continue to grow from time to time. So leaders support sustainability decisions through business analysis, giving assurance to both the financial and non-financial issues that are available to them. How do leaders do this? So we want to ask ourselves, what is ESG? ESG simply stands, as I said earlier, on the environmental, social, and governance issues. There's a set of standards that organizations, operations are focused on. How you manage environmental impact, how you treat employees in the organization, and other stakeholders, shareholders, and all those things, and how good governance practices affect the business organization. So when we look at ESG, it focuses on those non-financial issues. How are employees treated? What is the environmental issues in terms of pollution? For example, you own a church. You want the church to grow from time to time. Where is the church located? What is the level of noise that is coming in? How are workers treated? We've had issues about workers being beaten, their throats have been slashed, they are maltreated from time to time. How do you treat your workers? Because look, for your business to grow, you must train your workers. You must treat your workers well. And once you treat them and you motivate them, they will be in a position to work hard. Then comes the issue of good governance practices. Good governance practices are very key in all that we do today. Because if you are having an organization, you don't put proper structures in place, a board of directors in place, you don't have competent employees where you go through the process, where somebody comes to you, I can do this. Somebody says, I know somebody, that person knows somebody. And so you are bringing a square peg in a round hole. You are going to have a problem. And so the goal of ESG is to capture all the non-financial risks and opportunities that are inherent in the day-to-day activities of the business, of the company that you are having. And so it's a serious issue now, and the world globally is focusing now on the environmental, social, and governance issues from time to time. And we're going to look at how these issues, practices, are being looked at from time to time. So we need inclusive, sustainable development, not only with the sustainability issues, not only with individual and institutional activities, but also with the strategic decisions organizations play. If you are a leader in an organization, you are a manager, you are a board member, you are the team leader in a particular organization, there is the need for us to look at how we can have sustainable development. Development that will ensure that at the end of the day, we all benefit from the things that the business is giving us from time to time. Ladies and gentlemen, business leaders around the globe, when we are looking at ESG, sometimes people use the word interchangeably to look at sustainability, to look at corporate social responsibility. But the scope of ESG has broadened beyond the corporate social responsibilities organizations give from time to time. And this includes the environmental, social, and governance issues from time to time. Let me take them one by one. When we talk about environmental issues, we are looking at how the organization performs as a steward of nature. How do you perform as a steward of nature? When we talk about steward of nature, how are you using the non-renewable resources in your production, in your manufacturing? How do you handle potential release of harmful products into the air, into the land, into the water bodies that we have, so that the people that you claim you are providing the resources for would eventually benefit from it? Let's look at the issue of Empire Cement that is located around the Weja Malam Road. And that Empire Cement, they have done all the construction, they have done everything, the community rose against the operations of the company, that they've not actually been given the license to manufacture cement, that they want to produce paper bags, but they have gone ahead to look at the issues of cement. And the people came up that, yes, you are going to release harmful substances into the environment. It is going to affect their health. They're going to have a lot of uncomfortable situations. And hence they proceeded to court. The operations of the company came to a halt. I'm being told that they have been located to a different place. The question we need to ask ourselves is, this cement factory, what happens to the cost of the construction of that facility? What has the company done in terms of environmental and social impact before they establish this company at that place? There are government institutions that needs to look at the environmental impact. So the leader of that particular company would need, if he or she understood ESG and looking at the environment very well, would have to have engagement with the community, would have engagement with the investors, would have engagement with the government institutions and the government itself to look at where factories of that nature are being located. Because the harmful nature of the substances that they are going to release to the environment will have a dire impact on the community. And so the environmental issue is very key. And looking at the air, the land, even the water that we drink beneath, the life underwater, life on land, the biodiversity resources that we have, the animal species that we have, can all be affected from time to time. And that is why we also looking at the noise pollution, so that if you consider a church or a business that you are going to manufacture, you are going to produce something, the factory should be noise proof so that people will not agitate. If you are going to have some harmful substances released into the environment, because there are some factories that are located at certain places, ladies and gentlemen, the substances that they release to the environment, nothing can grow except some weeds that you can find. So you cannot have any even fruit growing in those areas. And these issues are not very small. When you look at the social issues, we are talking about how the organization manages relationship with employees, suppliers, customers, and the community in which it operates. So what is the relationship, social relationship? The employees in the organization, how do you treat them? Do you give them a lot of pressure? We can see, excuse me if I use this example, a parliamentarian had an accident. The first thing the parliamentarian need is to go for medical checkup. Go to the hospital. But this person was placed in an ambulance to go to parliament and vote. What are we telling our people as leaders? How do we treat our employees over time? Do we have good relationship with our suppliers so that they can provide us goods on credit? They can help us ensure that we get the needed market. They will not cut supplies to us when we default in some ways. Our customers are very key in what we do. If you lose one customer, you lose millions of customers. What kind of treat do we give the customers? Do we assume that the customer is doing service to us? Or we are doing a service to the customer? The customer is key in the social environment. social issues that affect the various communities. You are living in a community, you are polluting the environment, you are not helping them. People are poor, you are not even employing people from that community. Human rights, health and safety issues are the responsible business practices, marketing and privacy of the products that we have. So, what are the human rights? Do you dismiss workers? Do you replace them? Imagine you have invested so much amount of money in a particular employee, and that person leaves your organization. At the end of the day, you are going to spend so much amount of money in training people from time to time. But if you treat that person well, they have a right. If the person is sick, the person can go to hospital. If the person is due for leave, the person can go for leave. There is a clinic that is available. You are providing health services to the employees. Every year there is a health checkup for them. You have a gym that they go for keep fit every now and then when we are looking at these issues. And so as we look at the issues, there is the need for us to ensure that the organization works well. How do we market the product? You see, these days, the Food and Drugs Board came up on some organizations that, look, you cannot advertise some products, alcoholic beverages, if you are a celebrity. It's about the social impact this will have on the organization. There are issues about privacy. These days, you are doing something in the organization, your trade secret, before you realize, they are taken out. They are released to other people. Environmental issues define what is often referred to as the social license to operate. So we need a social license to operate the businesses that we want to operate from time to time. And so that is what the social issues looked at. The next issue we want to look at is the governance, organization's leadership, and the effective management of the business. Because organizations, from time to time, they focus on ensuring that there is strategy execution, performance, and risk management, or management of risk. An effective governance will ensure that you get that social license to operate. So if you have effective governance system, your strategies are very well, just as the Empire Cement that I used. You would be in a position that they will not have problems with their operations, and they will locate at a particular place. What is the executive pay that they have? The regulatory compliance, shareholder rights, internal controls, external and internal audit systems that are in the organization. Do you have a company that you think that, yes, it's a company, I own the company, so whatever I am going to do is always going to be that way. It should be my way and not the way the organization is operating from time to time, ladies and gentlemen. So these issues are very important to ensure that we run the company in a way that is good at all times, so that at the end of the day, things will be okay for us. What then is sustainability? Ladies and gentlemen, the UN World Commission on Environment and Development says that sustainability is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainability. You are meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That's very profound. In the sense that we as leaders, if we are leading, we need to ensure that we do things that will meet the present needs, but we shouldn't compromise the future. And so we shouldn't sell the future now in all that we do. Don't have a business that you borrow so much for the business, and that money that you've borrowed is not used in developing the business, but for other things, such that at the end of the day, it becomes very difficult for the company to pay its debt. And what will happen is that the company will have to be liquidated. People's investment will be lost. That is not sustainability. And so when we're talking about sustainability, we are meeting the present needs without compromising the future. As a business leader, what footprint are you leaving behind? Is it a leader that by the time that you finished your term of office, because it's not permanent, your employees, your subordinates want you to leave the organization very fast? And so there is the need for us to look at these issues. Now, ESG is taking over. The world faces global challenges. The global challenges include climate change, increasing inequality, balancing economic needs with societal needs. Investors, government, customers, employees are demanding that companies should not only be good stewards of the capital, but also of nature and social capital in whatever they are looking at. That is why ESG is very key now. Investors are incorporating ESG elements in their decision making. So whatever decision investors are making, they are looking at ESG issues, making sure that they secure good capital, both debt and equity capital, in what they want to look at. And so today you see that we have issues about debt restructuring in our country, Ghana, where haircut investors are losing their money. Now the world is moving towards green bonds, bonds that are sustainable, that at the end of the day, people will not have any problem. I'm not sure a lot of us have heard about the permanent perpetual bond that is issued in the UK. UK have a bond they call the perpetual bond. And that bond is for life. You have it and generations after generations will come in for it. Because they've looked at the environmental, social, and governance issues with regard to the bonds that they have. And so there is no way government is going to default on that particular bond. And increasingly, it has money that they are having. And so today, we have the Bank of Ghana adopting ESG in the financial sector. We have the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Ghana Stock Exchange launching ESG reporting framework for companies. And so they are now requiring that companies will make sure that they have these things incorporated into their strategy. And when they are reporting, they report on these issues. Because investors are looking at this as a strategy. And research shows that ESG has now become a make or break consideration for investors globally. So investors who want to invest their money in the business, they are looking at the sustainability, so that you don't put your money in a particular business and that business will not grow and your money will be lost. Today in Ghana, a lot of us are looking at ESG in the banking sector, in the manufacturing sector, on companies that are listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, so that we will not have the case of UT Bank, Beige Bank, and the rest happening to us, where we have investments that are gone down the drain. If you have a microfinance institution, how are you going to ensure that it is sustainable? over time? How do you increase the equity balance, inequality? Where do you give the same opportunity to male and females, men and women, children and grown-ups that are working in the business entity for you from time to time? Do you look at the issues of pay balance, where some people who are working in the organization are the ones who are getting so much, there are others that are getting little? That is where we have the issues of ESG coming in. And so investors expect more. Investors are looking at ESG matrices before they make funding decisions. And they often see them lacking in ESG, because if I want to invest in a business, I am not Father Christmas. I want to find out how long would the business be in existence. In accounting, we have what we call the going concern concept of the business, that the business will continue to exist into the foreseeable future. And that to live that, there should be a separate legal entity. The owner is not the same as the business. So the owner can leave, but the business will continue to exist. Have we asked ourselves? Companies have celebrated 200 years of existence, 100 years of existence. How do they do it? Over time, Barclays Bank of UK has been in existence for over 200 years. They celebrated 100 years before in Ghana, before they changed to Absa Bank. And when that is happening, we are asking ourselves, what are the issues with the environment, with the social and governance of those entities? A research by Ernst & Young in a global survey found out that 99% of investors utilize ESG disclosures as part of their investment decision-making process. We shouldn't say it is happening somewhere. It is close to us. It's very close to us. Today, when we are looking at marriages, people are going to look at ESG. Where the person grew up from. What are the issues? What is the social behavior? What is the training and upbringing of the person? So that we will not have a marriage that is a social media marriage. We will not have a marriage that will break down in no time. And so investors are looking at this very critically before they make their investment decisions. We have the environment, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These sustainable development goals are linked up with the ESG. The role of leaders in implementing the sustainability goals, 17 sustainability goals, are very key for us. And so the goals recognize that ending poverty must go hand in hand with strategies to build economic growth and address issues on social needs, education, health, equality, job opportunities, tackling climate change, and working to preserve our ocean and forest reserves. Look at what is happening in the Galamsey areas. Our water bodies are being polluted every now and then. The environmental issues are very key when we are looking at that. So there are 6 sustainability goals. So 6 sustainable development goals that are there. One of them is clean water and sanitation. How do we ensure that there is clean water and sanitation? Is our environment clean? Where you are producing your product, is it so clean? If I come in and I visit your washroom, how is the place like in the business entity? Affordable and clear energy. Affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all the things that we want to do. So we have biogas now that is coming in so that we don't use charcoal, firewood in destroying our environment. Responsible consumption and production. What are the climate change actions that are needed so that the impact of climate change will not be affected? In Ghana, we have our president attending the climate change conference. Life below water, the oceans, the seas, the marine resources, our fish products are being destroyed. So as leaders who are in the fishing industry, who are working in areas where the water is working, we have some factories, I'm told, around East Legon side. The company operates such that when they produce, they release harmful substances into the river. And the river has turned into something else. Life on land, we need to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of our ecosystem, our forest reserves, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss from time to time. And when we talk about biodiversity, we are not only talking about animal species, even our culture and our way of doing things. And so this is linked up with that, and we need to work on it. We look at COVID, ladies and gentlemen. When COVID came in around the world, there were societal fragmentation, rising unemployment, widening digital divide. And these effects are not just short-term, we have the long-term impact on organizations. And we need to understand the network drivers that are collectively affecting the societal needs. And if we need to look at that, the sustainability goals that relate to social needs: no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, reduce inequality. That is for the social network, ladies and gentlemen. And this social network, if we want to achieve it as an organization, how well are you educating your workers? They don't have the skills. You don't have to keep them there. You send them to school. We have leaders who would do everything to ensure that their workers do not get steady leave to go and study. They don't care about the health and well-being of the workers. They marginalize gender. And at the end of the day, decent work is no longer something that they want to look at. Inequality gap is growing from time to time. And what we are saying is that as leaders, there is the need for us, very importantly, that we ensure that we end poverty, zero hunger. So you are working in a community and the people don't have good sleeping place. When it rains, the rain is coming down on them. Protect them, and they will be the guiding angels for your businesses that we have from time to time. And that is what we need from leaders. And that is why these things are coming up. When you look at the organization must understand that there are collective issues that are affecting governance rates and how we conduct business from time to time. And hence, good governance practices are very key in the things that we do. The Sustainable Development Goals have 6 of them linked up to good governance. What are those ones that we have? Decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Look, when you take industry, innovation, and infrastructure, let's look at what happened in Turkey. You realize that some buildings at the earthquake zone were not affected. There are others that were affected, and unfortunately, we had our footballer losing their life in that particular earthquake. And so, what we need to look at from time to time, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you look at the governance issues, you would ensure that there is innovation. There are technologies that are available now that they can use to ensure that where there is earthquake, the buildings will not collapse. Where there are flooding, your items in the factory, in your workshop will not be affected. Sustainable cities and communities. When it rains, our city in Accra, every now and then somebody is dead. Simply because a lot of companies have blocked the waterways. How do we work in an environment where we are destroying it? Governance comes in. So the cities, sometimes those in Accra, I pity you. Because when you come to Accra, the traffic. So anytime I am traveling to Accra, I want to reach Accra by 6 a.m. and make sure that I don't find myself in traffic and return much earlier back to Cape Coast. Responsible consumption and production, pigs, jaxes, and strong institutions. Because when you look at strong institutions, if the MD is not around, something can be done. Of course, anything can happen to you. So we need that strong institution to ensure that you grow. The governance issues are talking about partnerships. You cannot do it all by yourselves alone. So there is the need for partnership. Partnership that will ensure that you partner other companies within the country and outside the country. What we call benchmarking. You benchmark to ensure that you learn the best practices. Once you learn the best practices, you come and use it in your organization. What about partnership are we creating from time to time? Myself, as a lecturer in the university, I have partnership with industry. So whatever I am going to teach industry, my work in industry, helping companies have sustainable businesses that they are building from time to time, will come in. Let me just share this. I work with one company in Accra. One of the issues that they came out with was that, look, the workers are not believing in their goals. How do they ensure that the workers believe in the goals that they create? I went around and the workers were on their phones. They were chatting instead of working. So I said, there is a need for you to have a partnership with the military of Ghana. They have a military training camp. Send the workers to the military training camp. Let them go for training for 2 weeks. Invest in them and you will see the results. We link up with the military. Payments were made. And they have that chance for every business organization in Ghana, educational institutions in Ghana. The workers went in there and they came back, and it is a different story altogether, because the resilience, the discipline that is inculcated in them build these people to ensure that they are working well for the company. There is the need for us to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the role of the business leader when we are talking about sustainability? We need to reset the way we think about sustainability. The stakeholders must have trust in the non-financial data, risk management processes, and business recovery. When something happens to your business, you see market women in KJTR market, they have the markets destroyed. How do they recover? So The leader of a business will tell you that what we are doing, there is the need for us to take insurance. When we take insurance, at the end of the day, when these risks occur, this is the benefits that we are going to get to ensure. What is the contingency plan that we have from time to time? Andrews Harding, he says that as core members of almost every business organization, government and non-governmental organizations, leaders play a key role in providing non-financial and financial management information to drive business performance, develop strategies, and influence decision making. That is what we are as leaders. They bring unique set of skills and knowledge to the table and can work with diverse stakeholders. And as they work with diverse stakeholders, they ensure that they bring sanity into the businesses that they are running from time to time. And as they bring sanity to the business that they are running from time to time, it means that as leaders, there is the need for us to ensure that we have models that are working very well. So as business leaders, we have skills, we have the expertise, we have the knowledge that we bring to the table. And this table that we are coming on, there is the need for us to profile our wisdom to ensure that the business community benefits from the things that we do from time to time. That is why we are leaders. And so let us just not take it that the leadership is just for everything. We have obligation to upskill and understand how sustainability issues affect organizations' resilience and that of the wider society. You have that obligation. If we do not have it, let us go and learn. That is why John Maxwell training and on leadership is very needed. You build that resilience. You build that company that will be sustainable from time to time. As leaders, we are the trusted advisors and not only bring credibility to information, but we also bring insight, influence, and impact. We must analyze the ESG factors and inform the business in its holistic decisions that they are going to make. You are a project manager. You are a student. You are an investor. You are an employee. One day you are going to ensure that things are done well because you become a leader. What do you do? Look, the environmental factors are complex. Business leaders and other professionals must engage other climate change scientists, biodiversity experts, regulators in technical conversation. There's a need for us to have that so that we have that kind of engagement from time to time. If we have that engagement from time to time, we would understand the issues. Do not just wake up and then you are looking at the issues just like that. There is the need for you to have interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary conversation. As leadership, move from your comfort zone. Don't stay in the comfort zone. No, it is not going to help you. You ask the right questions. You verify the findings. And you will be familiar with the language that is available for you to validate the organizational models. You are bringing that kind of environmental data that is available to you to a commercial insight that will affect the business organization that you are having. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very key. As leaders, You engage in various areas of environment. And so there is the need for us to find professional development opportunities to increase our environmental knowledge. But brothers and sisters, there is a caution here. We're not saying that you are going to become an expert in the area. You can be an expert. You can be a scientist looking at life underwater, life on water. You cannot do that. But what is going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of expertise in the things that you are doing to ensure that the right thing is done from time to time. As leaders of the various businesses that we have, there is the need for us to ensure that we take the right decisions. The last thing I want to talk about is that as business leaders, we need to deal with complex ESG issues. And it requires holistic approach. We need to move from disconnection to interconnectedness, from linear to secular thinking, from silo to emergence thinking, from part to whole thinking, from analysis to synthetic thinking, from isolation to relationship thinking. When we do this, we would be in a position, it's because the world is not just an island. And once the world is not just an island, there is the need for us to work very hard on these issues. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to state that awareness creation will remain important in dealing with climate-related risk. And infusing ESG principles in our planning will help us prepare future business leaders to address the present social and environmental challenges of the modern business world, thereby creating sustainable development. ESG requires risk management expertise, sustainability reporting, development of innovative products, and ESG motivated shareholders activism. As leaders, we need to show the way. We need to ensure that we do the right thing from time to time. Thank you all for the time. So this is where we come in, and I'm available to take your questions, so your suggestions, and the way we can push this ESG agenda in the businesses that we run from time to time. I'm very sure and certain that CTL, as a leadership organization, can provide some leadership training in ESG, and I'm always available to help leaders, companies, and businesses that want to go on this particular agenda. Students who are on the platform, we have sustainable accounting standards that are being prepared. It's a big area that is coming up for various industries that are available. Companies are now required to do it. Let us take courses in ESG from time to time and ensure that we do the right thing and propel ourselves into the world of business. Thank you very much.
Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, and see you on the growth journey.
Much for those very insightful, a lot to chew on, and I'm seeing some comments or questions already. So we're going to leave you a few minutes to take some water whilst we go to the audience to see what they are saying. Just take notes of the questions, and then we'll bring you back and come and address some of the comments and questions that will come up. So thank you so very much. A lot to chew on, leading with the environmental, with the social and governance is a lot. You cannot be a leader and not know and understand your environment, the changes that are going on, technology issues. You cannot lead well if you don't know the social issues that the people are dealing with. You cannot lead if you don't have the governance systems to be able to build your organization to be sustainable and to live, to be sustainable and to live on even after you. The true purpose of leadership is tested by the succession systems that you put in place. So thank you so much, Doc, for that. A few people, so many people are here. A few comments and questions. William Dafoe is here. Charles is here from Accra. Charles Houdinia is here from Accra. Richmond is here. We have Hajia Alima from Tamale is here. Emmanuel Willindo is also here with us. And we have Dennis from Sakumono. Willie Glay from Parliament in Togo is here. Thank you, Willie, for joining. Helen Boche is here. He says interesting. He was enjoying. And Tony Tete Jr. is here. Thank you for the presentation. My question, and this is probably the first question that Doc will take note of. What is the difference between ESG and CSR? What is the difference between ESG and CSR? That is from Anthony Tete Jr. Ebenezer Tufo says sustainability. The present generation should not fight for their survival to the detriment of future generations. Very important statement. A clear contrast is the Galamsey menace. All right, so Ebenezer learning something there. He joined us from Abuja. Juliet Bedema, he says air pollution is a big problem. Albert Donko, another Grove Day. Great. Ebenezer Tufo from Abuja says question. So this will be the second question. Looking at the governance style of African countries, which is embedded in extreme corruption, thus depriving their societies of the needed revenue to improve the livelihood of the citizenship. Which African country will be able to meet the UN Sustainable Development Goals, even if given 1 million years? Ebenezer is not optimistic at all about African leaders. So, Doc, you want to check which of the countries? Is it Ghana or where? Okay. Boshiba Godson, or Bosheba, I think it's Bosheba Godson, Says, well said there, sir. Kwaku Darfour, thank you very much for the awesome presentation. God bless you. And Tete Junior comes back. He says, wow, congratulations. Presentation well delivered. I like the linking of ESG. I like the linking of ESG in marriage. Thank you for sharing. Yes, that was interesting. Eunice Ampon, my lecturer never fails. Ghana is proud to have you, sir. Indeed, we are proud. You're one of your students, giving you fans there. All right, so Kwaku is asking a question. There's the third question, and then we'll go to Dr. Kao to address those comments, and we'll come back for more questions and comments. What do you say about some food joints which are sited near drains, gutters, etc., and even restaurants? What do you say about them? All right, so we would pause here and we'll go to Dr. Kawo to address those three questions, and I hope he did pick them. Doc, did you pick those three questions?
Yes, I picked the questions.
All right, so great comments, people learning a lot. So we would leave you to give your comment on those questions and we'll come back.
Thank you very much. The first one is looking at the difference between ESG and CSR. When you look at ESG, we are looking at the focus. The difference, the two are looking at how the company manages their activities. But then the focus on ESG is to evaluate the company's sustainability performance by investors and other stakeholders. Whilst that of the corporate social responsibility is focused on the voluntary actions and initiatives that are taken by the company to address the social and environmental issues. It's voluntary, so they are not mandated to do anything. But now the ESG is coming in and is going to be mandatory. That is why we have the standards that are being prepared. So whatever that you are doing now, you move from the voluntary issues to the sustainability issues. And the voluntary ones, some of them are not sustainable. Some of the things that the companies do are not sustainable. And so there is the need for us to ensure that we move away from some of these things. Now, the second question that borders on African leaders and how we will be able to meet the sustainable development goals, that even if they are given 1,000 years, we will not be able to meet it. We can say that there are some countries that are looking at that critically. I can give one example of Rwanda. Rwanda is doing well in the fight on ESG and then there's environmental issues. And they are making sure that they work hard. Now, the problem with our leaders is that they don't want to use experts to do the things that they want to do. And most at times, we do not grow the institutions that are supposed to be resilient, devoid of politics. In Ghana, for example, everything that we do is about politics. If you are not a political party member, you might not get a position, except the leader decides to put you there. And even when we assume the position, we tend to work for the person who appointed us. In some instances, we are asking the person to instruct us to do what we want to do. And that is very bad of us as a continent. And so these days, these things have to be imbibed in us right from primary school, how we should do the things. We heard about the story about Japan when they went to Qatar for the World Cup, that they finished and everyone is cleaning the place. How do we work on these things? It's part of them. They go to the schools, they have to clean the place. They go home, whatever they do, they have to clean it. ourselves will litter our roads. We are in a car and we are blowing flames outside. Some of these things, the educational sector will need to pick it up. We need to transform our educational sector to ensure that we get proper training on some of these things from childhood, so that when we grow up with them, we live with them, and they will change our entire system. And sometimes we need to make the conscious effort ourselves that if government is not doing it, how can I do it in a right way? You see, do it in a right way in your company, in your home, in your marriage. And before you realize, it will translate into a national agenda that we can all be proud of. That is what I want to say about that. Now, when it comes to the food joints and restaurants that are located near gutters, it's a very huge issue about health hazard. Quite recently, we heard about food poisoning at a popular wache joint. The people ate the wache and they had the food poisoning. Just recently, a teaching assistant at the Ghana Institute of Journalism, or I've forgotten the right name, she went to buy fried rice from a particular place, and it was published that she died through the eating of that rice. We heard about the restaurant located at East Legon, where a lot of people have bought the food and they are dead. I bet everyone here, if you visit a lot of the restaurants, the hotels, and you visit where they prepare their food and the way they wash their things, it's a pathetic sight, and you will not want to eat food from there. That is where the regulators come in. We allow people to establish business and put it anywhere. And we are the very people who go and buy these things from them. It's high time we take strong actions against some of these things, because people do not care at all.
Mhm.
And if you do that, you are destroying your business. The one who is selling in traffic, who is not keeping the bread well. And if you read some traffic joints, you realize that they are using cloth to clean the bread that they are selling to us. In some countries, you'll be arrested. But we see this and we just drive through. You buy pie in traffic, and if you don't check it well, you are eating worms. So if you are going, you can cook your food from the house, package it, and use. And there are some restaurants, they have been in existence for a long time. You will not hear some of these things because they are practicing the right thing. And they will ensure that the right thing is done at all times. So it is time for us, our regulatory institutions, the food and drugs, the environmental protection agencies, and all those things, they should not only be interested in the bigger companies, but the smaller ones that will also work for us. We have the campaign launched by Joy FM and then Accra Mayor, Clean Your Frontage, where they go around to ensure that those who are preparing food, and you see some of the videos, very appalling. These are things that we need to stand against. When COVID came, you all realized that when we were doing hand washing, using the nose mask, social distancing, cholera was out of the system. But once these things are gone, we went back. And if care is not taken, we'll go back to the same things that are happening to us. So it is high time. As leaders, let's do that. As educational leaders, the programs that we organize, the things that we do should be geared towards these things. Because good heart, the Latin word that says that mens sana in corpore sano, a sound mind in a sound body. If you have good health, you work hard. But if you don't have good health, it becomes very difficult for you to work hard and make sure that the company grows from time to time. Thank you.
Wonderful. I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Hearing ESG and all this sustainable social, if I'm an employee in an organization, I'm saying to myself, oh, all these things is for the MD, for the management. Me, what has this got to do with me? So my question is, what has this ESG got to do with the ordinary person, the ordinary employee in a regular day? What does this mean to us? And here on this platform, we teach that everybody is a leader. So, in that sense, what should ordinary people day to day, what should they be doing? What is the message for them as far as this important subject and issues are concerned?
Thank you very much for that question. Very key question that is being asked. Yes, as you said, today we might be ordinary employees of the company, but tomorrow we might become the leaders of that company, directors of the company. The company that you are working for, you are not working alone. You are working with people. What is your social relationship with your co-workers? Which environment do you create around yourself? Are you that type that will not want to learn anything and will not want to be corrected when there is a wrong that you have done? How are you taking the issues about pollution in your company rightly? You have been employed to do a work, and you must make sure that the mixture of chemicals that you are going to use to manufacture the drug, you use the right one. How attentive are you? Or you are focused on social media, and for that matter, you've made an error. How sure are you as that individual that tomorrow you will not be the one that is managing the company, or that company that you are destroying your future generations? Let's remember the definition of sustainability: meeting the needs of the present without compromising the needs of the future generation. If you plant a thorn on the way for your enemy, one day your children will walk barefooted along that road. So when you are leaving an organization, you are working in an organization, are you doing the right thing? Or you want to cut corners, do the improper thing, make money out of what you have, so that at the end of the day, the company will go down. You run the company down, you go down with the company. So as employees of the company, we must voice out. We must learn about these things, because tomorrow we will become leaders. What about the banks that have been consolidated? Workers that have been laid off? What about those workers who were working in these banks and they've noticed that management was not doing the right thing as a professional? What did they do? Did they report, or they think it is not for them, or it's not for their father, their mother, and so they don't care about it? Tomorrow, the generations will ask us questions. And so as ordinary persons, as we will say, we must make sure that we learn about these things, try to practice them, live as good leaders, create a conducive and congenial atmosphere for all workers around you. Create the atmosphere that management will see that you are a reconciliator, you are a peacemaker, you respect people from diverse backgrounds, you don't discriminate, and you work with all manner of persons. That is the message I have for everyone.
Thank you so very much. Let me bring Sarah to see if she has any questions. Sarah, do you have any questions or
No,
comments?
I don't have any question. I just want to say thank you to Sariam because for me, the message I'm getting loud and clear is that of self-leadership. I mean, whatever you have shared with us, if we start ourselves implementing it at our level, then to our children, to our children's children, this is how we're going to be able to transform and to implement the ESG. Because it's not only for people who are running companies or whatever, even at our level in our homes, we have to start there. And the example that you gave with the how the Japanese, they
Yeah.
started at home, and therefore wherever they go, they practice that. We should start at home. Charity begins at home. So thank you very much, Siriam. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for those learnings. And people, go ahead to put your comments and let's have your takeaways. And let me see if there is any more questions. Um, and I don't see any more questions. A few more comments, but I think we've taken them. So please share with us your takeaway. We would like to have your feedback on the presentation, what you are learning. We would like to have your feedback, what you are going to apply. We're going to what you're going to change in your life, in your leadership, and what you're going to teach others. So please go ahead and share with us your learnings whilst we go back to Saram to give us his closing remarks, his parting remarks in 2 minutes. Thank you, Sarah.
All
Over
right.
to you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the issues about building resilient companies and businesses is here with us. The last time I spoke on this platform, we talked about family businesses. And these family businesses that we talked about, there is the need for us to infuse ESG into them. And it starts from the home. It starts from our homes on how we train ourselves, we do our things, so that if you have ESG with you, you would be able to ensure that you cut down costs. Because we are in difficult times. If you want to make investment decision for the family, for the children, we need to make sure that we invest in companies that have sustainability goals to ensure that the children that will benefit from that investment in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, benefit from it successfully. As said by the panel, we are not supposed to look at it from the viewpoint of companies and as leaders alone. Let's start from the home. It should be intergenerational issue that we should look at from time to time. If you are going to build a house, if you are going to buy a property, if you are going into friendship, ESG is very key in all that we do. So that when you do it, the friends that you have will build upon you. Learn, let us find avenues. There are courses on ESG now that we can take up. There are trainings that are there that we can pick up. CTL is available. Please contact them. Contact us at the University of Cape Coast School of Business. We would be able to help you shape your businesses and organizations. We can run some programs for your workers, and we build resilient organizations from time to time. I thank CTL for giving me this opportunity to share this knowledge, this piece with us. And we at the University of Cape Coast are incorporating this in all that we do in our training for our students to ensure that there is a future for these people, there's future for the organizations, and there is future for Ghana. Our leaders as a country, let us use the institutions and ensure that we build the strong institutions that is required to make sure that we profit better. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night, and thank you so very much. Let us begin with ourselves. Let us continue from our homes. Let's take it to our family businesses. Let's, at our workplace, understand that leaving this world a better place than we met it is our responsibility. It's a divine requirement that we should be able to do our best so that we can live whatever we came to meet, we can do it better. So we encourage you, as Seram said, we have trainings going on. We want to encourage you in the next 15 weeks. We are taking the next cohort. We are landing one next week, and we are taking the next cohort of the growth journey from the following week. So we want to encourage you. There are a few more places on the plane. We are taking the trip for 15 weeks of growth. You are spending only 2 hours together with a team of like-minded individuals who are concerned about their growth and who are prepared to intentionally grow, move from whatever level they are. And we have lots of professional people, corporate people, bankers, lawyers, architects, wherever you are. We have had pastors who have come on this journey, and it has helped them tremendously. Today I was speaking to one of our alumni, and she was telling me how through these discussions she's made serious moves in her career. Prior to that, she thought she was okay, but now she's more aware. We want you to be aware of your growth, know yourself, know where you're going, and do it intentionally, and kickstart your growth from wherever you are. So join the growth journey. It's 1,800 for a whole 15 weeks journey. We meet once a week, but throughout the week, there are activities, exercises, work that we come and we share, and we give you the principles, we guide you so that you'll be able to grow as a person. On that note, I want to thank all of you and wish you a very good night. And tomorrow being Sunday, I encourage you to go to church and to thank God for your life, because when you leave this earth, hopefully when you have left it sustainably, you are going to give account of what you did with God's earth and God's people. Good night.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gacy.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. On the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Eyim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness. Then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Eyim, and we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I've been blessed, and so you be blessed. Thank you.